Democrats are slowly starting to raise the alarm bells about President Biden's chances in 2024, and they desperately want someone else to run. Ring of Fire's Farron Cousins joins me to talk about this and many other issues. You followed it. I mean, I think when I started looking at everything, you were the first person I read or heard that started talking about, really? I mean, is this what we want? Now the New York Times and Washington Post and some of the mainstream kind of things that have always been there for them, they're starting to say, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, look, you and I had actually talked a couple weeks ago. There was a report that there were some whispers, in back rooms, we don't want Biden. But now those whispers are turning into very loud voices with members of Congress, strategists, party donors, and regular voters too saying, this guy's not going to win in 2024. No. He's going to bring us all down. Yeah. We have to do something. And when you think about it too, you've got 2 years. I mean, less than 2 years really to find a good replacement.
Exactly.
And the clock's ticking.
Well, we should have started already. He needs to do what's best for the country. He needs to announce and say, I'm not going to run. He needs to clear the field and say, I'm not going to run because I'm going to be 82 years old when I run, and I'm going to be 86 if I finish my second term. It's just the right thing to do. So you have the Democrats now finally venting their frustration. They can't ignore it anymore. The Democrats that were so horrified to say anything critical because they were afraid it was going to hurt the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is already hurt. Yeah. I mean, let's get. So now what we have is we have the public maybe that's driving the train. They're ignoring what Washington thinks, and they're saying maybe the public is driving the train. The New York Times is reacting to it. Washington Post, all the big newspapers with real journalism, reacting to it.
Well, and another thing, too, is you got to look at what's happening over on the Republican side. Sure, Trump is still at the top, but there's cracks starting to form. And you have a lot of Republicans saying, look, we don't want a 78-year-old guy who's just going to be talking about his bitterness about 2020. So we look at Ron DeSantis. He's younger. He doesn't have the gray hair yet. He's still, a regular-looking guy. So they're flocking to him for the same reasons that Democrats are starting to get upset with Biden.
And Trump needs to do the same thing. Trump needs to say, I'm not going to run. I'm going to cause all this chaos, but I'm not going to run. I mean, after these hearings, January 6th, there's so much there. Come on. The guy, he just needs to come out and say, look, I'm going to step aside. I'm going to be the person maybe that I can go around and help in the midterms, but I'm not going to run. Look, but what's happening with Biden right now is this: it's fear, it's disappointment, it's resentment to some degree. It's festering, and look, you can't ignore it. You've got the disaster with gas prices. You got the disaster with inflation. You've got his gaffes. His gaffes that are now starting to create really a question of worldwide power structures. He's saying things that can start another war or can start some type of conflict where they should. So all of this stuff is finally being talked about. These things I just read are all being talked about in the New York Times.
Yeah.
And they're saying this is the problem. It's not just physical, it's mental, and it is age. You just can't ignore the fact that he's going to be 82 years old when he runs.
Well, and Biden has a perfect out as well. He could easily come out right now and say, listen, folks, my goal was to be your bridge president. We had 4 dark years of Donald Trump, and I came along. I wanted to pull us through from that. I'm the bridge. I'm not the vehicle. I'm not the driving force to take you into the future. I yield that to someone younger. I think somebody else in the party can come out and continue you on this path that I have put you on. There's very diplomatic and statesman-like ways to do this.
He can still be important.
Right, and he can save face, and it also kind of saves him from having to worry about, again, another election. It's a smart thing to do for him personally and for the party politically.
I completely agree, Farron. And, the most troubling criticism is that, look, you had the presidency, you had the House, you had the Senate, and you still couldn't do anything. And they're going to say, but Manchin, really? No, not but Manchin. It takes leadership. And the guy just doesn't have the kind of respect that gets anything done. And he's got to come out and say, no, I'm not going to run. He can't be selfish about this. And nevertheless, today the White House says, yeah, he's going to run.